A marriage is a social event in the truest sense of the word because it affects the society we live in. Every happy marriage strengthens our society, every unhappy one weakens it. Are people today fully aware of this? And in particular, do young couples really prepare themselves for the most momentous step of their whole lives?
We take it for granted, don't we, that training is necessary for any job in work, for any job that may last perhaps only a few years. What about this job that's going to last all the years of our life? Because you know, this partnership of love and life, it's not a matter of working with somebody from 9 in the morning till 6, then leaving them. It's not a matter even of going out for a few hours with somebody, having a good time, coming away. It's not that. Do you know what it is? It's a matter of trying to share not only what you have, you may do that. It's a matter of trying to share what you are, and of trying to come together somehow until you merge like that. We're here to learn about that. We're here for the purpose of training our relationship. You know, on a wedding day, two people, they walk down the center of the aisle from the altar. They walk out to a new life, full of joy and hope and exaltation. They do, but watch. They walk out as married people. 1 hour ago, they walked up to that aisle separately as single people. They now walk out again as married people, but basically they are the same people and the same kind of people. They have not changed magically or mysteriously. Do you know a common enough situation? Two people are engaged for 2 years. He's working during the day, he's studying at night. She's working hard. They are, naturally enough, trying to put together money for their house. Of course they are, and they're right. But they don't make time for themselves. Do you know what sometimes happens? They marry. After they marry, he continues to work. He comes home, snatches his tea, goes out to study. She's been working all day. She works then in the evening, cleaning up the house. They're too tired to talk. She stays working until a baby comes. Do you know what often happens? Because they haven't talked or learned to talk or trained themselves to talk, when they come home, they find there's a gap like that. Do you know, it's very, very sad to hear a man saying, "Father, we're 8 years married. Oftentimes, after the children have gone to bed, my wife and I were together in the kitchen. You know, I often feel I'm sitting beside a stranger. We on our course, we are taking time off to learn about our relationship. And you'll find this on this course, that simply because I and other people on the course..."
20 years ago, a young Jesuit priest, Father Tony Baggett, organised the first pre-marriage course in Ireland. Father Baggett is still at the same job. 3 times a year he holds an 8-week course of lectures in Dublin that is attended by up to 100 engaged couples. The course concentrates on the need for marriage partners to know each other and to know themselves. They must learn to love just as they learn any other human skill.
You can learn, you can talk, you can think.
Did you find that the course was a very intense course?
Well, the entire 8 lectures were devoted, well, the first part, to the emotional side, what to look out for, how to understand the partner, you know. In that, it was intense, you know, whereas on the practical side, it lagged.
What were the aspects of the woman that you discovered that you didn't already know?
Well, I would say an example recently that we had was that I was going someplace, you know, and I said to Mary, you know, Mary said to me, "Well, it's okay, you know, go on your own, you know." And I said, like, "Well, fair enough, you see," and I packed off and I went off, you know. But I didn't really realise, you know, I didn't sort of questioned the thing a bit more, because in actual fact Mary sort of wanted a little bit of convincing for me to invite her along, you know. And these are little aspects of things that I miss, you know.
I was mad that he didn't say, you know, come on, Ashley, you might as well. You know, he just said, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. And I was sort of left standing there, you know. And I sort of half wanted him to go on his own, but I think with a little bit of sort of persuasion, I could have gone along too, you know. But we just discussed that afterwards, because the next day then I said to him, you know, I would have gone. Oh, he said, Father Baggett.
Have you really got down to talk about sex without getting a red face?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And the pre-marriage course was a great help
Well,
towards
it
that
was.
as well.
How did it help you?
The fact that everything about sex was really discussed so openly at the course, and we got our notes from every lecture, you know. So you really could go right through it and you could discuss it right out with your partner, you know, exactly how you felt about every aspect.
Well, we didn't really have, I must admit, we discussed sex before we ever came to the pre-marriage course. But I suppose there were a lot of things that we didn't really have, you know, maybe detailed information about, and probably discussion after the pre-marriage course. We knew a lot more from that point of view, but beforehand.
But we
weren't
certainly knew our
embarrassed.
attitudes beforehand towards, you know, towards sex and towards family and family size and all that type of thing, you know.
What about family planning? Was it touched on at all?
Well,
Yes.
so-
Yeah.
Yes, in great depth.
Would you be able to handle, you think, family planning reasonably well now?
Yes, I think so, because I know more about it now than I did. I also know that there are a lot of people here in Dublin who can help, which I didn't, you know about before. That there are clinics and, you know, people who can advise you.
What would you say, Peggy, to those who say, actually, we don't need a marriage course, we know it all already?
Well, I would say that you can't know it all, really, and you know, I don't think anybody can say they know it all. How could they possibly know it all? You know, I think if people are serious about marriage, well, they can always find out more things. There's plenty of things to work about. But there are two things I would say about a pre-marriage course, and that is that it doesn't change people. You know, if they're not mature and if they haven't got enough money, well, the pre-marriage course isn't just going to give them money and make them mature right overnight.